Truckers X TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to an episode of Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth's Something Story. In today's episode right now, we're going to begin the next part of Turnabout Airplane, whatever. If you have today's episode, make sure to like my special channel. March 12th, 1 p.m. local time, Hope Springs Airport. I know that once we had landed, I'm supposed to let the local police take over. And thanks to Miss Tenero and Miss Melee, I was able to preserve the crime scene. But I just can't shake it. I wasn't able to talk with Miss Tenero in private. So I'm left wondering, what was she up to? Why did she have to do what she did? There must be a way for me to continue my investigation. I've been expecting you, Miles Edgeworth. Who? Oh, great, her. Franziska, I thought you were still in Germany.
I go where I needed, and wherever there are crimes to be caught.
Her name is Franziska von Karma, the daughter of my mentor, Manfred von Karma. She, like myself, is a prosecutor. Are you heading up this case? It would be a bit of relief if you are.
Don't you try to flatter me, Miles Edgeworth. I'm placing you under arrest.
What?
It's quite frustrating, actually. I had hoped to exact my revenge on you in a different venue. But I'll have to take what I get. I never thought I'd see the day when a disciple of the House of Von Karma would become a criminal. Have you no shame?
Wait, it has been a big misunderstanding. I didn't kill the victim.
A misunderstanding? I heard all about the murder over the police radio from the captain himself. You waited for the victim on the first floor and then beat him to death.
Franziska, do you honestly believe that I killed a man?
I suppose I should reserve judgment until after I have investigated this for myself. I could put your arrest on hold until then.
That's as it should be.
Ha! I don't need a lecture on how to perform my duties from you of all people. To be perfect in every way, the fulfillment of that creed alone is all I strive for.
Well, I have my own creed which I must fulfill, so why don't we solve this together?
I have to get going. The crime scene awaits. Don't you dare leave town.
Trust me, I have no intention to.
Detective Gumshoe.
Yes, sir.
Too slow.
Ow!
Listen up, I'm leaving you in charge of watching this man. Don't mess up, understand?
Mr. Edward, I'm supposed to guard him?
A simple yes or no, detective.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir. You just leave it to me.
Miles Edgeworth, if you interfere with my investigation, I'll arrest you on the spot. Are we clear? Now then, if you excuse me.
Good to see you again, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Boy, am I glad to see you're okay. Thank you, detective. I believe in you, sir. You can lean on me. I'll get you through this. I have to admit, I'm a bit curious as to what Franziska is up to. Maybe I should ask the good detective. Very well, in that case, I have a few questions for you. Initial investigation. So how is the initial investigation going? We just shipped the body off to the coroner's office. And we're taking statements now, sir. That sounds like Franziska. She was always good at quick responses to a case. I'd say she was a little too quick, sir. Oh, how so? I rushed on over as soon as I got word of the affair, sir. But somehow, when I got here, Miss Von Karma was already here barking out orders. It was kind of creepy, as though she knew there had been a murder or something, and had come in advance to await your flight's arrival. That is sort of odd. She did show up rather quickly and out of the blue. Plus, I still don't know why she's here in America. There must be some backstory to all of this. Miss Von Karma just kind of popped out of the prosecutor's office about a week ago, sir. Something about chasing down leads related to a certain incident. No details? It's kind of top secret, so she can't talk about it, even with me, sir. Knowing her, the only type of talking she likes to do is with her whip. Plus, I doubt the top secret part was what stopped her from talking to you, Detective. Although, I wonder if her case has anything to do with mine. Anyway, that's about all the info I have, sir. We should find out more as we investigate. Yes, it is high time to resume my investigation. Starting with talking to people involved in this case afresh. So we just scope around, huh? But who do we talk to is the question. Oh my god. If you really want one that, why don't you go ahead and buy one? Is that okay, sir? Thanks. Alright then, I'm really gonna get one. Here I go. Cheers, miss. I'll take a Star-Spangled Banner lunchbox, please. So we're the most expensive one on the menu. Are we allowed to move? Dude, we have to talk to everyone here? That's crazy. We really have to talk to everyone. This man was in first class with me. He was quite shaken up by the whole affair. I'm pretty scared too if I got caught up in a murder investigation, sir. I did it. I made it the whole flight. I'm not scared of turbulence anymore. So what exactly are we doing here? That's okay, Mr. Edward. It's got nothing to do with the murder, at least. Can we talk to that guy? Oh, whatever. Okay, from behind, I think I've seen this man somewhere before. In Soviet Russia, Rover Flash March 800. Yo, what's with the emoji? Mr. Edward, we gotta get him some water. Found it. Oh, I feel. What? Creative power is coming on. For my next leaked movie, it's gonna be the Steel Samurai Warrior of Neo versus the World Samurai Champion of Earth. It's gonna be rockers, whatever. Third thing was a false alarm, right, Mr. Edward? Well, the Steel Samurai is finally getting a movie. Completely ignore me as usual. Am I allowed to get the heck out of here, or am I allowed to go somewhere else? Oh, wait. Next thing we get kicked out.
So you must be the captain.
Why, yes, I am, and who you might be.
I am the project prosecutor Franziska von Karma, and I have a few questions for you. Oh, don't you dare, Captain, getting friendly with another woman. I'll never forgive you, dude.
What are you talking about? I only have eyes for you, my dear Cammy. I wouldn't bet money on our dear captain to be much of a reputed person. Sure you don't want to ask the captain some questions, sir? He was in the cockpit the entire time. I highly doubt he knows anything use. Anyway, I'll leave that type of witness to Franziska and her whip. Ah! Eh! Now, see here. Ah! Sorry, I'm so sorry. How long do you intend to hold me? It is impossible for me to be a criminal, I told you. Mr. LeBlanc. Oh, it's you. Tell this man to stop stopping me from going. Time is money. I don't have 1 second to waste for time to spend. Did you finish taking a statement yet? Yep, all done, sir. I do not concern if you do not examine the cargo hold. I want my... What? You will make a single scratch out of my art. You will pay. Art. What sort of art? Mr. LeBlanc is an art dealer, so he's got a bunch of artwork down in the cargo hold, sir. There's practically a mountain of them, large and small. From folk costumes to stone statues, I saw all kinds. Folk costumes. Speaking of which, Mr. LeBlanc's hat kind of looks like the other piece of cloth. The other piece of cloth? Do we have? Ooh. Mr. LeBlanc, could you please tell me a look at this for me? Oh, it's the Borginia cloth! As I suspected, your hat is made of the same material, I suppose? Yes, of course, this fabric's so famous, orders come from over the seas for more. Then this is the cargo you were talking about earlier? No, my cargo this time is much money. You detective, when can I have her move? You can get your cargo back when we're done investigating, pal. Stop it, as you police. It's no good. And it's no good to tell the attendant refusing to exit the attendant's room. The attendant? I wonder if he's talking about Miss Tenero. What did you mean by that attendant, Mr. LeBlanc? She was taken into the attendant's room for her interview. And then they still have not come out. They make no sign of coming out either. I was finished my own interview much earlier, quicker than her. Why is Miss Tenero's interview the only one that's taking up so much time?
Miles Edgeworth, you were given free rein to examine the plane, weren't you?
Yes, I was able to attend the cooperation of the flight attendants. Speaking of attendants, I'd like to speak with Miss Tenero. I wonder if you might grant me permission to enter the flight attendant's room.
Before I do, you still have to clear up a few issues surrounding your own circumstances.
I understand.
You may have to trick those attendants with your sophisticated talking. But you can't pull the wool over my eyes, Miles Edgeworth.
Oh, here we go. Franziska's line.
Let's not complicate things and go with the most obvious conclusion. The scene of the crime was here in the very lounge the body was discovered. For the time the victim was seen calling for an attendant until his body was found, the only person in this lounge the entire time was you, Miles Edgeworth. This mistakenly makes you the likeliest suspect.
Huh, the likeliest suspect, Franziska.
Do you have a problem with that?
No, but it's not like you to use such vague wording. You're usually a bit more absolute.
I'm simply trying to watch out for you. Or is my kindness too hard for you to comprehend?
Thank you, but your leniency is unnecessary, for I will prove my innocence soon enough. If I want to continue my investigation, I'll have to break her line of logic fast. Okay, what do we have? Let's not complicate things and go with the obvious conclusion. The scene of the crime was here in the very lounge the body was discovered. From the time the victim was seen calling for an attendant until his body was found, the only person in the lounge the entire time was you. From the time the victim was seen calling for an attendant.
Hold it!
What do you mean by seen?
Please stop pretending like you don't know. Insulting. Obviously, I'm talking about Mr. Hicks was seen calling for an attendant at 5 a.m. And then, from the time after that call until the body was found,
I was taking the attendant, and then...
Hold it!
While it's true that I was in the lounge the whole time, the fact that alone does not make me the criminal.
Objection!
we'll see about the conclusion of this investigation. However, there is one thing that even you must admit at this time.
What do we have? The footprints? Wait, 5 a.m.? Something about 5 a.m. is just clicking. Obviously, I'm talking about how Mr. Hicks was seen calling for an attendant at 5 a.m. I'm talking about how Mr. Hicks was seen calling for an attendant at 5 a.m. Was seen calling for an attendant at 5 a.m. until his... The scene of the crime was here in the very lounge. I would say this.
Objection!
Nope. Nope. That's not what I was thinking. Yikes. It's like, I was thinking like, what's her line of reasoning? It's just the wording that's kind of confusing me. Suppress everything else first.
Hold it!
Don't you think you're being a bit rash simply by declaring me the culprit? I like my affairs to be simple and perfect. I'll show you the meaning of both when I finish this whole thing in 3 minutes. Ouch. But I won't allow her to send me to prison so easily.
Hold it!
Under the circumstances, I suppose I can agree that I am the most likely suspect. I believe in you, sir. I don't think you did it. Ouch.
Quit scruffy. Even if we were related by blood, that's no guarantee that he's not a criminal.
Franziska.
I demand to see some proof that you're not guilty of the party.
The likely suspect went around about everything, but it would appear that she doesn't yet know about the new evidence that we acquired and where we acquired it. So we're talking about the new evidence, right?
Objection!
It would appear that you did not have all the information you needed after all.
And what does that mean?
I found a nice piece of evidence just before I was forced to stop investigating. A piece that proves that the body was moved from a different location. The killer used this suitcase to move the victim's body. Meaning that the real scene of the crime is not this lounge at all.
Objection!
Now, who's the one rashly jumping to conclusions?
Excuse me?
All you did was find this piece of cloth inside the suitcase. That doesn't prove that the body was moved. It could be that the killer simply chose that suitcase as a good place to hide the cloth.
I expected you would come to that conclusion. It would seem I can escape that easily.
You should know better than that. Avant Kava is perfect in every way.
Ah, but did you know that the killer definitely wheeled the suitcase around at some point?
Objection!
As if there's proof of that.
Where is the proof that the suitcase was moved around? I was looking at something else. The flight will be making a brief stop to refuel and transfer cargo in the Republic of Zhangfa. This? Where is the proof that it was moved around? Where was it move around is the question.
Take that!
The spilled grape is in front of the elevator.
Yes, and I'd like to draw your attention to this area here. Where is the evidence that proves the killer dragged the suitcase through there? Right here.
Take that!
This mark here. What did you say that it looks like suspiciously like tracks from 2 wheels?
I suppose.
Further, there is a grape juice residue on the wheels on the suitcase. This means the suitcase containing the victim's body definitely passed through here.
I suppose this means that the killer did move the victim's body from somewhere else.
I'm glad you come to your senses.
Objection!
Not so fast. This still doesn't put you in the clear. Not by a long shot. You prepared yourself and acquired the piggy bank before the plane hit the turbulence. And then you waited for the victim in the lounge where you beat him to death. Then while you were in the elevator with the victim's body stuffed into the suitcase, the plane hit that patch of turbulence. Out of the flew the body from in the suitcase. With no way out, you hastily put the suitcase back where you had taken it from. You pretended to be the discoverer of the body.
Oh my god. So much. Not a bad bit of logic for you to something thought up on the fly.
Just what are you insinuating?
That I will show you exactly how flawed your logic is. No matter how strong you face you put on, not even you can hide your fears from me. I'll expose the flaws in our logic in one fell swoop. You prepared yourself and acquired the piggy bank before the plane had hit the turbulence.
Hold it!
And how do you suppose I was able to take the piggy bank out of the display case? As I recall, the case was locked.
That's easy. If the case was locked, you simply had to hit the glass like this.
Ow! You shattered my heart of glass. So she wants to talk about the in-flight shop and the Captain Ugo bank, does she?
That takes care of how you obtained the murder weapon.
And then you wait for the victim in the lounge where you beat him to death.
Hold it!
I thought there wasn't any of the victim's blood found in the lounge.
I thought you'd say that. What, did you think I wouldn't have noticed? I think you have found a way to cleverly hide the blood splattered in the lounge by accidentally spilling grape juice on top of it.
Are you accusing me of tampering with the crime scene now?
We'll see, won't we? The forensic scientists are hard to work as we speak.
And what do you propose I did after that?
Then while you were in the elevator with the victim's body stuffed into the suitcase,
the plane hit that patch of turbulence and out of the body...
Hold it!
You experienced turbulence on flat before?
Of course, many times. You get used to it after a while.
The patch we hit was especially rough, and I passed out briefly, but only for a second. Good thing it was only for a second. It'd be bad if you really blanked out. Yes, indeed. Unfortunately, blanking out is exactly what got me in this mess in the first place.
That's enough of your idle chatter. I'm not through with you yet, Miles Edgeworth. With no way out, you hastily put the suitcase back where you had taken it from.
Hold it!
If I really were the criminal, do you really think it would be so easily caught?
Objection!
You are essentially in the middle of being caught right now.
I have to find a contradiction fast, or I won't have much of my own hide left to say.
I have to say you are looking rather caught right now, and I'll tell you exactly what you did after that. You loitered around in the lounge.
You hastily put the suitcase back where you had taken it from. What do we need to present? Wait. Are we talking about the piggy bank? Because the piggy bank's right there. Are we talking about the piggy bank? It's either this or that, that's what I'm thinking. Then, while you were in the elevator...
Hold it!
So I put the victim's body into the suitcase, and then, where was I headed, Franziska?
That's pretty obvious. You were bringing it to first class where you could safely keep an eye on it.
We're talking about this thing, you know. I hardly call it discreet or ordinary.
Annoying brat. Well then, you were intending to leave it inside the elevator. But unfortunately for you, a wrench was thrown into your plans because...
Hold it!
I didn't pretend to be anything. I really was the first to discover the victim's body.
I suppose that's true.
So then you are yielding to my statements?
Don't be foolish. I still insist that you are the killer, but in that sense, you really were the first to discover the body to be dead. No matter what I say, she seems dead set on making me out to be the killer. Her logic is reasonably sound, and the large majority of it reflects to the truth. But there is one point about it that is not quite right. The suitcase, or what are we looking at? Are we talking about the suitcase, or are we talking about the piggy bank? While you were in the elevator with the victim's body stuffed into the suitcase, the plane hit the patch of turbulence and out flew the body from within the suitcase. With no way out, you hastily put the suitcase back where you had taken it from.
Hold it!
Objection!
Isn't? We already went through this, right? But it's impossible because in the in-flight shop after taken out of the turbulence.
Objection!
I knew it. The fact that you took this piece of evidence into account in your testimony is to be commended. Your legal prowess is certainly something to be feared. Evidence and logic, essential tools that those who stand in the courtroom must learn to master. But what if there was a fake piece of evidence thrown into the mix? A fake? The Captain Ugo piggy bank is just a fake. It is not the real murder weapon. What? The timing of when the bank was taken from the shot is important, and it was taken after the turbulence had occurred. But then what about the blood on the bank? What do you make out of that? I assume it was added after the murder when the killer fabricated this weapon. Looking at it this way, the killer basically did 3 things after the turbulence. After exiting the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase to the shop and left it there. Then, the killer proceeded to pick the bank from off the floor and took it to the fabricated fake murder weapon by hitting the victim on the head. Finally, the victim's wallet was planted on my personage, in my pocket to be precise. Everything was done so that I would be framed for the murder of Mr. Acby Hicks. You there! Yes, ma'am. Other than this piggy bank, was anything else resembling a murder weapon found? We didn't find anything in this lounge or in the shop that could be used as one, ma'am. Most of the items that could be used were broken during the turbulence, and the remaining items all tested negative for any trace of blood. I see. Well, Miles, after it appears you style tactics are at the end. But it's possible that it's just hidden somewhere, sir. If the criminal had wanted to hide the weapon in a safer place, I think the weapon would have been hidden in the same place as the bloody cloth. Exactly what I was thinking, because the cloth was hidden inside that suitcase and signals me that the killer had not prepared a more secure place to hide the evidence. Which means that the real murder weapon is either still on the murder's personage, or is still at the real crime scene.
Objection!
There is one possibility,
And that would be?
that the piggy bank is in fact the real weapon.
But didn't we just...
Hold it. Let me finish. The killer took the bank out from the display case before the turbulence by opening the lock on the display case door. And it was at the time that the glass pane in the door was broken. I say that's a perfectly reasonable line of reasoning, wouldn't you? Let's see, so that means that the killer had the key to the display case.
Franziska, the person you're talking about...
Not so fast, I'm not finished. The person I'm talking about also committed another sin. She tricked the captain and granted you permission to conduct your investigation. Yes, it is a sin of lying. Speaking of which, I recall that you also wish to speak with her.
Yes.
Very well, permission granted, but only if I can sit in your interrogation. Do we understand each other?
I have no intention of interrogating her, but you are welcome to accompany if you wish.
Miss Tornado is in the flight attendant's room. Let's move.
The other half. Today's episode right now, we're gonna interrogate our our attendant.
So you're the one that poked around inside this plane without the captain's permission. Deviating from the flight attendant's manual is very unbecoming, you know. What were you hoping to accomplish by doing that?
So, Miss Tornado,
Mr. Edgewood, you're here too?
could you please help us shed some light on why you did what you did?
Alright.
What the heck is that?
That's a suitcase.
It's one of those suitcases on Miss Tornado. You can tell it hardly ever been used by the lack of even a scratch on it. There's sure to be a clue of some sort in this trash can. If you please. Yes, sure. You just leave the rummaging to me.
Scruffy! How dare you go through a woman's trash without her permission? Have you no sense of honor?
I'm sorry. I'm just doing what Mr. Edgewood told me to. Ow! Forgive me, detective. Why did you lie about receiving the captain's permission like that?
Because I didn't think I would be able to get his permission.
What do you mean?
The captain, he only has ears for Cammy. I spoke with the captain a little earlier myself. He definitely seems to be rather taken with Miss Melee. Yes, and on top of that, I had mistakenly accused Mr. Edgeworth of being the killer. I wanted to make amends.
In that case, please allow me to thank you for what you did. Thanks to you, I was able to clear myself of all charges.
Really? You were able to prove your innocence? Oh, thank goodness. Miss Tornado, is it? There is one more thing I'd like to ask of you. You were in the in-flight shop just before the turbulence, weren't you? Please answer honestly. Yes, I was. And why were you there? Well,
Why the sudden hesitation? Franziska seems to have struck the nerve.
all I did was go check up on the shop like I always do. You're saying it was for work then? Yes, I'm in charge of the shop, so I have to keep an eye on it. I don't have any reason to go there otherwise. After your visit to the shop, you paid a visit to this room, correct? Yes, I came back to freshen up and adjust my makeup. I'm sorry, but there isn't much to tell.
Mr. Nair claims to have no reason other than duty to go to the shop. But is that all there is? Maybe I should ask her about that thing. If you could please take a look at this for me, Miss Tornado.
Oh, that suitcase.
Yes, about this suitcase, you're the one who designed it, correct? And I think I figured something else about it. This suitcase is the reason you went to the shop, isn't it?
There's nothing you won't find out eventually, is there?
Won't you please tell me more about this suitcase?
Yes, I was interested in seeing how the suitcase I had designed were selling. I know that as a service professional, I'm not supposed to care, but I really wanted to know. And I was glad to see that it was the last one there.
The last one there. So you're saying, Mr. Turner, that the suitcase in question was the last one?
Yes, they're just so popular they're practically flying off the shelves.
That's not exactly an impression I got.
The one in the shop is most definitely the last one.
Well, we're currently looking at the suitcase.
Really? Then I guess we sold all of them. Thank you very much for taking the last one.
I didn't say anything about buying it.
Then say you'll buy it.
I'm sorry, I can't.
But why? I think it's great for your complexion, Mr. Edgeworth. It really suits you. I guarantee it personally as a service professional.
Well, that is... how should I put this? It's hideous. Maybe that was a bit too direct. Moving on, my issue with the suitcase isn't the design, it's the number of them remaining.
Remaining?
There were 2 suitcases in the flight shop when I investigated it.
2? But that's impossible. I'm sure there was only 1. Looks like her story was generated quite the contradiction. When I left the shop, I'm positive there was only one suitcase left.
Something is amiss here. What could be the meaning of this inconsistency? By the way, Miss Tornado, what is the suitcase doing here?
That's...
I thought you said there was only one left.
That one is, mine. I've used it for a very long time now.
She used it for a long time? I think not. Miss Tornado, I'm pretty sure if you would lie to me.
Excuse me?
I don't believe for even 1 second that you used it for a very long time. The price tag?
Take that!
Tell me, Mr. No, is it your habit to keep the price tag pristine in your suitcase?
What is the meaning of this? Why would you lie about the suitcase?
Despite having faith in her design sense, the sales numbers made her cry bitter tears. The truth is becoming increasingly clear to me. Miss Tornado, I think I understand. I know what you are trying to hide. Now then, this suitcase was originally in the flight. Seeing as how the price tag is still on this suitcase, one can only assume it was out of the floor shelf in the shop. And the person who brought this suitcase was herself.
Take that!
It was you, wasn't it, Miss Tornado? I hate to say this, but this suitcase that you designed, it hasn't sold very well, has it? You saw how poorly the design that you poured your heart into was selling, and we were deeply hurt. That's why you wanted to make it look like it was selling by buying it yourself. Isn't that right?
Then the reason you went to the shop and came back here was... I'm sorry. All I really have is my job. I was overjoyed when my design was chosen. I thought that maybe I had finally accomplished something.
But the suitcase didn't sell.
It's because of the design, isn't it? All because it's, as you put it, hideous.
I can't say they chose a great place in which to sell them either.
We weren't selling a single one, and they were just sitting there collecting dust. I felt so bad seeing them there day in and day out, so I decided to buy one for every flight I worked.
You buy one every single time you work a flight?
I see, so in order to keep the resolution, you went and bought one today as well. Yes, and here's my receipt for the purchase.
This receipt is clearly timestamped 5:40 a.m.
The truth is, there's still a bunch of them left unsold. They're planning to scrape the remaining ones on the end of this flight.
Miss Tornado, where are there other suitcases?
They should all be down in the cargo hold. And the suitcase the killer used
Could very well have come from the cargo hold.
Mr. Edgeworth, you don't think the killer used one of my suitcases too?
Yes, I do. The killer used one of your beloved suitcases to move the victim's body.
How could they? Those suitcases were meant to be faithful partners to our passengers on the trips. That's all I ever wished them to be.
Miss Tornado, is there any other way to get to the cargo hold other than the elevator?
The other way is just through the door there.
And what about the security?
The door has no special lock installed because just to enter this room, you need a special keycard only crew members have access to.
Which means that the culprit is someone who can enter this room, eliminating the passengers and leaving only crew members as potential suspects.
I can't believe it.
Yes, Franziska?
Going on these wild goose chases, you're a disgrace to the Von Common name.
And what do you mean by that?
The suitcase came from the cargo hold? That fact alone tells the whole story.
Yes, which is why I said the culprit must be a crew member who used their key card.
Miles Edgeworth, you're proposing the killer rode the elevator from the cargo hold, correct?
Yes, that's the only realistic possibility.
That other attendant, Miss Melee. I asked her earlier and she had this to say.
Franziska got information out of Miss Melee.
In order to make the elevator go down the cargo hold, a different key card is required.
A different one?
Yes, and the only person who holds that particular card is you, Miss Rhoda Tornado. And only you.
What? Is this true, Miss Tornado?
Yes, I keep that keycard in my locker at all times.
Could you please show us that card right now?
Yes, hold on. Ah! I don't believe it!
What's wrong?
The keycard, it's gone! Ha ha ha, very clever, pretending that your card was stolen when in fact you're just trying to hide it from us. You already thought this through. Wait, it's not like that. You could tell us all about it what it's like down at the station. Officer, arrest this woman.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Edgeworth! What's wrong? There's disbelief written all over your face.
Franziska, I know that you are the lead investigator on this case. However,
Hold it. Don't even think about wasting any more of my time. You know the rules as well as I do. Evidence speaks louder than words. Even if this isn't a courtroom, that basic tenet still applies. I intend to investigate the cargo hold now. What will you do, Miles Edgeworth?
I intend to do likewise. Oh, wow. To be continued right here. Alrighty then.